with single-celled organisms. They crash into a planetary body within a life-bearing rotation called Earth, the highest evolved the planet has to offer before the meta with the Homo sapien to maintain balance. Their ancestors began evolving from the most primitive state into historic meta creatures. Humans quickly attempted to eradicate these generations in their desire for self-preservation, while many hyper-evolutionary strains of meta were eradicated in Arizona during the Earth year 2001. The early generations developed, evolved, changed, and adapted to a world that they had no understanding of. As meta-organisms were generations first appeared from their prehistoric state in 2003, the prehistoric meta-conflicts became resolutions. The appearance of methodology using Hamiltonian graph theory to develop devices that provided a sort of contraception to the meta gave, power to both sides, which created resolution. This resulted in a new protection for humans and caused coexistence. War still exists. Hi, my name is Hugh Bowen, and I would like to present to you the story and world of meta. What meta is a survival monster capture title set in a Arctic world called Alaska. Throughout our journey, we attempt to go just beyond that into deep space, far beyond that, into planets far beyond Earth's reach, filled with habitable zones with extreme temperatures that are best suited for meta. They love the cold, and this allows them to exist without having to overbear themselves with the abilities that they possess. We are now in update 3, and during this update I shall present to you a lot of the features that we are working on. Planetary terrain system. Basically what that is, we are working on having a planetary spherical terrain system which allows players to progress through a world that they can actually see and feel from a ground level, sky level, and space level. What this also allows is for players to traverse through the entire world as if they do in reality, rather than on a small plane like most games currently do in the current generation of games. Our graphical presentation is realistic, but we are not focusing on next generation graphic techniques. We are working on gameplay, but in a sense that where technicality is high, but graphics are at a minimum to support the technicality of the techniques that we are using. During meta, what you do as a player is progress through the world, traveling through snow, surviving not just wolves and bears and all these types of animals that can throw any sort of unimaginable strength in your direction, ranging from types that include fire, ice, water, electric, psychic. All these sort of creatures exist. Creatures that can throw entire trees at you, blow up entire lands, throw ice blasts at you, and you can't do anything other than hope that you have enough rounds in your clip, and hope that those clips do not empty out before you, In meta, what occurs is a lot of players attempt to capture these sort of creatures, befriend them in their own unique ways that best suit their culture. They have adapted to themselves throughout the years they have been here, which is oddly only 14 years. When meta first arrived, they were nothing but ooze, dripping, and a scientific discovery calling them the next generation of science, which quickly progressed into a sort of state that pushed humanity to a new level of scientific capabilities. Right now, we are currently working on adding features while also fixing our current ones. We currently have, beyond the terrain system, the ability to release creatures from what we call metacubes. What metacubes are is a device used for contraception. In a sense, for the meta, you capture these creatures. Once you capture them in your metacube, they are your creature, they are yours, you are their friend. We also have the ability to use artillery. This is a main way to claim your territory and also defending against your neighboring players. These players use artillery in the same way that you do. They use artillery to take out everything that you have grown, everything that you have caught, everything that you have made, your cities, your bases. All these things are taken away from you with just one artillery strike. If you lack the defenses, a great offense is not the only thing that you need in meta. You also need a great defense. If you don't have a great defense, what happens is you lose everything. The creatures that you capture have the power to blow up entire cities with just one attack, ranging from electric shock all the way up to sunny day, anything ranging from inferno to flamethrower to psychic cut, razor leaf. All these things can just completely devastate society through the evolutionary processes that occur. These creatures have adapted to the ability to evolve billions and billions of years in just matters of what we call decades, making our evolutionary process seem primitive to them. Their intelligence level is just as advanced as ours, but the level of evolution gives them the ability to understand concepts which we cannot. But they cannot understand a concept if no one around them has any concept of the concept which they are trying to understand. In meta, you can capture entire lands. You do this by what we call a haven graph theory. What we do is, essentially, as a player, you use a Hamiltonian graph, which is a vertex. You place this vertex down in the world, and what happens is any player that enters this vertex is going to take damage, which means that only you and only those who you deem necessary can enter where this vertex is. So if you put down enough vertexes, this area is yours. And the only way for a player to actually take care or get rid of your claim of this territory would be to completely wipe out all the vertexes which you have established in that area.